There's no promise that this is going to be great. If you made it here, you need to understand I did go back to homeschooling yesterday, and it's just a hot mess. It is just hot mess. Hot mess. So here, I'm going to talk to you about it. If any of you happen to jump on why I do this, we can have a conversation about how welcome back to homeschooling. This is not going great. So for those of you that don't know me or this is your first time here, I am just so Trish. I have been homeschooling and telling you about it. Well, I've been homeschooling longer than I've been telling you about it. But I've been sharing my homeschool journey and knowledge on YouTube for 9 years, 8 years, somewhere in there. I don't even remember. And the thing about it is I've talked about it on and off. So welcome to a mama chat. This is because I don't want to use my phone to video and just take so long to do it. And I know I want to connect to you. So hey, Doris. Oh my goodness. And Darcy's here. Woo woo. Okay. I just want you all to know I've done 2 days of homeschool. And the first day, this is what happened. No joke. This is what happened. This is my homeschool office. So this is my office, my homeschool, my craft room. And the last time I did the video, I was on the other corner and I hadn't painted anything white. So I have painted the week before and I just kind of makeshift set up. So that table right there over there is like the homeschool room section, whatever. I don't have enough table space and I don't have enough organized. This like little corner of my world is my office. And I'm sitting at my office at this very moment to do this. Thank you. Halfway home. So in order to get here, we have to leave the house, come to the barn. This is not a perfect situation because there's no bathroom here. So I already know because I've done something similar when we had the homeschool trailer, like the homeschool, whatever. What did I call it? The schoolhouse. We called it the schoolhouse. And that was a construction trailer about 500 square feet. This is, don't be jelly. It's 1,000 square feet. No joke. My time has come and I've finally been blessed. So it's 1,000 square feet. It's closer to the house. I'm hoping we don't have incidences where they just leave and never return. But I will say that day one, this is what happened. Leading up to day one, I have 4 and we're trying to catch up with Rebecca. It's so challenging with sickness and doctor appointments. Just leaving the house just makes everything rough. So day one, I bought the curriculum. I spent a lot of time building these kind of like, what are we doing? So we don't just sit there like, what are we going to do? I built these like little things. Let me get them. I'm going to get them. You're just going to deal with me. It's normal. And then I have to put some Post-it notes on some stuff. Yeah. I got to put some Post-it notes so I can't share everything. If I can find a marker. Oh, I have one. I'll do this one. And you know it's going to be backwards. I'm sorry. I'm shaking you. I hope you're not getting sick. Is that all I need? Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So I made these beautiful charts. They're not much. They're not much. It's just mostly like here's math on here, right? So I just put what we're doing. What I marked out was Nicole, the math lady. I went ahead and I bought the subscription so that they could go to Nicole, the math lady, and they could watch videos if they need it. Darcy, I am homeschooling the bottom 5. I am daily homeschooling the bottom 4. The other one needs a half credit of math per se, and he's done. And the decision was made. He wanted to go back to school. If he goes back to school, they're not going to let him take. We did a private school. It just was not the fit for us, for any of us. I resisted making that change, and we ended up making the change and decided to come home. One of the big reasons I wanted to come home was I don't feel like I'm having that mother-child experience that I really enjoyed with the older kids. And I had it because I was with my younger kids all the time, or with my older kids all the time. And I just wanted that back. And graduating one, I realized those 18 years are short. And with all the chaos, more times better. So the oldest one, we kind of finally just made the decision. He has an apprenticeship job waiting for him. So it's OJT, we're going to call that. And then we're going to cover a couple math skills. And in all honesty, I will tell you, in my experience with the education system, he's kind of met all math. There's nothing I need to teach him left. He has 4 years worth of math, but he didn't do so well in a college class. So he has to make up for it. There you go. So we're doing a little financial experiences. So I think I'm going to kind of shift and throw together like a little bit financial responsibility for math, and that necessarily like listening to rich man, poor man, no, rich dad, poor dad. I have the cough. I know. I got the 100-day cough. Some Dave Ramsey and some like maybe do some penny stock training and call it a day. And he's going to go work a couple days a week. So that will be his last semester. But then my high schooler's home. And I'm just going to tell you, let's just talk about why my first few days hasn't worked out and not get into curriculum. We will get there. Yesterday morning, I woke up and it was different. It's just the normal difference of when you go to school, everybody's up. They're trying to get out the door. You stress load getting everybody where they need to be. And like you have this like 45-minute period and then they're out the door. And then you just like spend an hour, sometimes an hour, like coming back to reality. Well, we don't have to do that. And then why would we do that if, why would we do that and get ourselves so stressed out? So there was a little bit of like waiting for them to wake up. Now, granted, I am mom, and should I have to wait on my kids to wake up? No. But I also was quite a little bit like, okay, we're doing this. What do we do? So yesterday morning was pancake morning. I'm not going to kid you. We make the flapjacks, the thick pancakes, but we also make a Swedish pancake that looks like a crepe that's about this long. And one of the things I've been trying to do to teach them is I just made pancake mix and I made them make their own pancakes because there's a skill too, right? There you go. There's a school. We started today too. I hear you. I always start like super simple flapjacks. Yeah. Right. So I had like, we just did a little thing and it's like, are we going to get started? And I'm watching the clock. I'm watching the clock going, it's now 9:00 and we haven't gotten started. And then it just felt like I'm pulling my kids like, come on, let's go to school. Let's go to school. And so I finally get them all in here, sit down. It's now 10:00. And I've been keeping it simple. So like for my oldest is a 10th grader, and she's doing math, English, world history, biology, logic. And so we're going to start with art. In the 70s, government would tear gas your home for truancy. You just scared the tar out of me, Paula, because I'm like, do I already have a troll? I thought you were trolling me, but you're fine. I'm struggling with getting them all in class in the morning. Most times it's after lunch before we sit down and get the videos going. Right. So, and I don't mind that. I just want to be like, a little bit like I want them kind of separated a little bit. So like my daughter's world history hasn't shown up yet because I went ahead and ordered The Good and the Beautiful World History, keeping it together. We looked at her math, got through everything, and she's looking at her English and she's like, this doesn't work. And I can't blame her because I'm reusing writing strands that I used with my oldest. And listen, Here's the thing about homeschooling. Here's the thing. Like some things work for some kids and some kids don't work for some things. That's just how it is. And I'm laughing because she goes, this is not a good fit. Her writing strands for master books. I'm like, really? But I used that book with the first kid that I homeschooled and we only got to lesson 1. So I feel like, okay, I get that. It doesn't work. It didn't work for me teaching it before, but I was just trying to use it. And I'm like, okay, so now this kid is sitting here with just English world history. But like in all reality, I'm having these younger, my elementary school kids here, my older kids here, and we're all at the table at the same time. And I hadn't thought out of like, what is my routine? And I'm like, oh, that's a problem. Not only is what is my routine a problem, my other problem is, I'm going to write this down so I remember what my problems are. My problem is, what is my routine? So I definitely have to get, sorry, it's just how it is. What is my routine? So I definitely have to realize like, hey, at some point you have to start. There's at some point they need to know when to come. And at the same point, I kind of have to look at my 8th and 10th grader as one entity and my 3rd and 4th grader as another entity. So do I start with these 2 first and then these 2 next? So do I stagger them like this? Now this one, my 8th grader, I didn't think I was going to make a video today or get on YouTube at all because I haven't been sleeping well the last week. And then she wants to go to the gym every day. And we have the Planet Fitness Black card. So if I go with her, we can both go to the gym. And I'm trying to go back. I'm not trying to go back. I'm kind of like meandering into getting my steps up. A year and a half ago, I shared it with you on Instagram, but I didn't really share the whole contents with you. I did 20,000 steps a day for a month. It took up a lot of stinking time that's really not available to me, but I'm going to have to tell him to text me. Because I'm not having this conversation right now. So I felt really good, but I don't have the time to do it. So she wanted to go to the gym. She's at that age. She's like 13, 14 years old. And it's so funny. I've been watching some of the Instagram reels where these moms are doing these parodies of like her 13, 14-year-old daughter just like popping up. Like there's nothing she can do because so like she's in that phase where she just shows up and she's kind of like right here. And I'm like, what do you want? What do you want? And hey, Miss Appletree. So she is kind of in that phase, and I'm trying to respect that phase. They've all gone through that phase, especially with daughters. And I'm like, can you? And she's like, it's been 20 minutes. You said we're going. I'm like, oh my goodness. Let's go. Let's go. And I won't lie. I got on the treadmill, 2.1 miles per hour. I just walked the slowest little pitiful walk ever. But you know what? I was like, I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm doing it today. So anyway, I digressed. This always happens. So it was hard. We got in here the first day, but it took about 2 hours and we got through a lot of stuff. Some of the stuff that I've brought in is we're doing some easy grammar for both, 180 days. The other one, we're covering prepositions. I kind of dealt with my little ones first. I had this phenomenal idea to rip everything out of the book that we would need for the week. It was messy. It like overwhelmed me really badly because I couldn't figure out what I needed. You know, I just couldn't keep things together. Tanya, I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, I know her name. It's coming to me. It's coming to me. And I was like, it's not Meadow because you changed your handle. Anyways. So I was just like, somebody give me a mess. Somebody text me real quick so I don't know why it's giving me this thing. There you go. Thank you. hide that person from my channel. All right. So I'm trying to be good about handling my things. So, it worked out. We got done in about 2.5 hours. One thing I'm definitely doing this year and moving forward in things is not taking it all so seriously and using my curriculum as my spine. What that spine means is I'm using the table of contents. And from that, if I don't like the way, if we just get tired of trying to read and match what they want, just changing the expectation of how we handle that information. So we still get the information, but maybe we find an alternative and watch it in video when we take notes. Maybe we find a teacher's pay teacher activity that works with it, that helps us just get the same content. Because in the end, it's the content we want. And now, if you ever hear about like doing that in the public school system, and this is like a whole thing that's not even about my routine, if you get that, like they'll come up with the standards and like they follow the standards and these are their contents we do. The same thing. So just pick something, be it a curriculum or whatever. So I'm trying to infuse that. But the big part is my routine. We got done with day one. I'm like, we can do this. I definitely need to make this a little bit more user-friendly in my space. But then day 2 came, which was today. So we went to the gym. I had to stop by the bank. My garden is phenomenal. And I had to stop at a couple places to get some stuff and fill with gas and return a Christmas item. And I got home and it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And I'm like, we haven't started homeschool. And I walk up and my daughter says, so I started my work because her stuff is laid out on here and she knows what she needs to do. She goes, but the little kids didn't know what they needed to do. And so I sent them inside and I was like, oh, so I need a routine of what they need to do in the morning when they get up to get stuff done, like taking care of the animals and their chores. But I also need a routine of things they need to do independent from me that's easy to do. Okay. This is overwhelming, but okay. Like I see what I'm failing at. And so we sat down, we did some stuff, and I realized really quick, some of the stuff about isn't working. So number one, my routine crashed. Number two, this is so I can come back and put chapters. Number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever happened. My curriculum, not a great, perfect fit. So my curriculum fit is just not completely all there. I went from minimal. Just starting with the younger kids. It is not enough. And I'm not saying it's not enough because it's not enough content to learn the concepts. Not that. It's not enough to occupy them for a length of time that doesn't require me once again. It's not enough there. So as much as they're like, I just want my work and to get done and go, they're kind of leaving way too quick. I don't have to worry about doing civics with them or social studies. They did that the first semester at the school. We just need to work on science and enjoying science stuff. And so I'm looking at that. I have math with them. I have Saxon math to do that. I plan to put my older one in. But, and I like master books, but it's too quick. It's like, we're done. So that's not like really working. And I like it, but it's just too done too quick. And then it needs me again. Too done too quick, it needs me again. Too done too quick, it needs me again. I'm like, oh, that's not good. That's not going to work. So I am thinking for the younger two to go ahead and get the good and the beautiful, because it gives them that time to just dwell in it. Yes, to dwell in it. I still may very well maintain and do master books with them because it's such a quick thing, but it's hard when the master book time is 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and we're done. So we're doing easy grammar on that. And we're doing easy grammar so I can teach sentence diagramming. And then I'm like, wait a minute, if I do the good and the beautiful, then it does the sentence diagramming and then we're good. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, I do like that part. And it kind of gets more into the deeper grammar. So I may or may not need to do the grammar as in depth, but I do like doing the prepositions with them. And it has the reading involved because I don't think there's enough reading that could be interesting enough for them in master books. I like master books though. And so please, I'm not trashing master books at all. I like master books, but I'm sticking to spelling you see. I'm already seeing the wheels turn like they never turned for spelling before. So I'm loving it. It's even covering handwriting. So I'm loving it for that. But then I'm also thinking about doing these quick little worksheets through Modern Curriculum Press. And then doing the worksheets for that. But then letting my older son start Saxon math with Nicole, the math lady. And then going ahead and bringing the good and the beautiful math for my younger one, because number one, I kind of have to keep them separate because my younger one is very competitive. Whatever he does, she's going to do better. And there's a year and a half apart, and there's some delays here because of speech. So if I put them in different curriculums, they can excel. And she's not doing this. She's not one-upping him all the time. And I can't have that. He just can't have that. So finding ways to not allow the one-upping. What I like about the good and the beautiful, that almost makes me want to give it to him, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I feel like, and I don't know for sure, but I really feel like their method is a beautiful version of Saxon math. A beautiful version of Saxon math. And now taking pictures or not, whatever, they have videos linked to the curriculum. So you can watch a lesson. And I've been talking, we already found a homeschool co-op. They swear they're not going to kick me out. I swear I'm not going to do anything to get kicked out because you know that's happened. So I'm just like, okay. Hold on a second. Let me see here. Anyway, so I just am like, I think that would be a good fit. It would allow her to be independent and it would allow him to move and not feel, and he doesn't need all the pictures and the colors. And I think she would. So I think it would work out good. So I'm like, literally like, oh, let me purchase this because let's purchase more. And I don't want to spend money, but here, look at me. I'm spending money. I was wondering how the good and the beautiful math is. Everything I've seen online, it really genuinely reminds me of, hey, Marie, it literally reminds me of Saxon, just the way it goes about. And it has enough repetition that it really balances. So those are those two. I need to do science. I have master books, science, the one of the series that does like from I don't know, it has a set, so it does 6th to or 4th to 8th grade or whatever. So I have that, but I don't feel as though, I don't know. I have that. Why do I need a makeover? Anyways, I have all that and I can't find the book. So I think I'm just going to do the good and the beautiful, like 2 topics. We're looking at like forces because they're always trying to do a like they're always building Lego stuff. And then there's doing botany. I really want to do botany because of all the gardening we're doing and stuff. So we're doing that. So that's kind of those guys. We're going to start some Spanish. We're going to start, but that's going to start in a week or 2. So we're starting off slow. We just, okay. Okay. Tanya, can I just give you the blue wrench? I don't know why you don't have the blue wrench. I would think that you would have a blue wrench. There you go. There you go. Girl, I'm just giving it to you because you've been here forever and I know I can trust you. I love good and beautiful for some things. Halfway home, what are the things you love good and the beautiful for? Like, what is working in your house? Because I'm looking at like typing one. Oh, I like typing one. Let's get typing one. And I'm looking at my 12-year-old is loving teaching. I've tried teaching textbooks online and it has not been deep enough. And I'm definitely dealing with my two oldest not having deep enough math. So far math is working for my two oldest. So those are my younger ones. I got to figure out a routine. I will give you a little tour of the things I've done today. Hot and bothered to do that, but the things I've done today. Let me talk about my little one or my older ones. So my oldest 10th grader is, but I know people who like teaching textbooks and they do great on it. They're just not that inclined. I love ACE math for the younger years. Phenomenal. I still really kind of like it. I just wish it had videos that went with it. If it had videos that you could literally take your QR code, go to a video, I'd love it. So for my oldest one, she didn't like the one math, language arts, typing, and bird watching books for the youngers. We're only on level 6, so time will tell, especially algebra levels. Teaching textbooks has been great for you. That is awesome. I also run into mine don't want to be on the computer as much, like interacting with the computer. I've been looking for really good curriculum that's helped for my anxiety-ridden ADHD brain. I'm not a teacher, but I know homeschooling is the best thing. AC has computer paces now. What is that like LifePack and AOP? Because one, I people who do LifePack, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, I had a hard time with LifePack because you would read the content, and if you're not a strong reading comprehension person, I always felt like the questions were between the lines, not necessarily like easily findable, if that makes sense. And then then they put them on the computer, which seems, but it was just more of the same, but then you couldn't click back and forth. It just was not a good like fit with us. So I wonder if when AC puts their computer, put it on their paces on the computer, if it's just like the way LifePack did it with AOP or not Alpha Omega Publications, whatever they called their computer, Monarch, they called it Monarch. I wonder if it fits with that. Oh, I love talking to you guys. You guys are so amazing. What is your opinion on alternating subjects, like alternating history and literature? My kids are 8th and 6th. It's too much for me to do both subjects a day. Hey, I'm all about it because I'm actually thrilled to think, let me just do history in the fall and science in the winter. And then when we did FLVS, we have found it better to pick 1 or 2 subjects and work on those really deep, really fast, and then stop them and start the next ones when those are finished. So find what works because it is overwhelming. Like I have 7, 8 subjects to do. It's too much to do. You're just too much. Like we're doing logic in master books. And I have to say, I really like that versus the way we did it in CC. And we did that in a short period in Challenge A. But I could squish it down to 3 days a week. Like I'm literally like, one day we're going to read together. Next day, we're going to complete the worksheet. The third day, we're going to write our memorization key terms. Moving on. Because I could squish it into 3 days and not have it feel like it's an everyday thing. So the curriculum fit. The original English I had, the writing strands was not. And the writing strands is set up like, here's things to think about to write. Now, next week, let's read. And then the next one, and read whatever you want. And she's like, I don't know. I don't know what I want to read. I don't know. And so I have the master books, grade 9 living language lessons, or however you say it. And I can't wait to do some reviews and have some time. I'm tearing these books up. I'm so sorry. I wish I had them all like perfectly and whatever. I didn't like the logic in Challenge B. I was like, peace out. My kids aren't doing that. I felt like that was an overkill. It was shallow. In Challenge, I'm talking about Challenge B classical conversation. Sorry. Sometimes you got to pay attention to the comments. So I was like, okay, so I have master books, 9th grade. My one daughter's doing, I go, do you want to just do this with her? I can just electronically buy the ebook. I can print them out for you. Here we go. She looked at it in depth. I printed it out a week's worth. And she was just like, not really, Mom. She's like, I've already done Pilgrim's Progress. I've just done this whole thing on it. I feel like it would be a review and I'd get nothing gained from it. And I'm like, okay. And we're trying to figure out, our whole goal this semester in her English is for her to pass her community college dual enrollment PERT test, her PERT test, so that she can start taking college dual enrollment next fall. So we went back and forth. I'm trying to figure out like what would be a good PERT prep. I don't want the big textbooks. I was hoping like, I hope Master Books comes out with a 10th grade curriculum. And now listen, my idea is if 9th grade English gets you a credit and 10th grade is not where you need to be, maybe you need to do another 9th grade, because in the end, a credit is a credit is a credit, right? It's just a credit. And you have to accumulate. So I don't really get stuck on, we've done 9th grade every year, a different curriculum every year, because even that's good. And I get it. You want to kind of move on. But I mean, some children just need that. So I ordered her the Good and the Beautiful 9th grade curriculum, Homeschool 1, Language Arts. And I told her, I go, we are skimming to your interest, all the geography. I'm not looking to give you a geography credit. We're skimming the art. You do it as you wish. I'm not looking to give you an art appreciation credit. If you get into it, I'll give it to you. I go, we need half a credit in English here. We're going to pick and choose. We're going to read the books and we're going to work through this. Okay. No spelling, because we're doing spelling UC with that. And she's like, okay. I go, I'm not going to kill you in this. I'm not going to hold you to the fire through this. I know it can get heavy and be a lot, but it is, and my husband's like, I'm at the school board meeting. Good for you. Go enjoy that. I am not participating in that. So I'm just like at the aspect of, my goal is to have you college ready. And if that means you took some dual enrollments and you got to feel, and we crossed out some of those high school requirements that are on the Department of Education's website, we're good. We're moving through. I have seen enough in the school system to understand they take the spine, they go with it. Some teachers do barely anything, even in a private school. Like they literally will just tell them to write the coded words and do the example in the book and then tell them it's their problem. I will tell you, geometry is a great one. My high school geometry teacher never once talked about proofs. I didn't even know it was part of the curriculum. We looked at shapes. We looked at calculating volumes and areas and perimeters. That's all we did. I had barely any algebra. I went to college. I took college algebra. I took pre-calculus. I took trigonometry. I took Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3. And then I went and studied the things I needed, differential equations, and studied the things I needed to study for engineering. So I think next would be like statics and dynamics would be kind of close. It's a physics math combo. I just took graduate level fundamentals of geometry. I was writing proofs about points and lines and whatever. That was my first taste of geometry. With that said, sometimes I think high school level is a little bit more than it's needed to be. And you're talking to an engineer who didn't have it. So I think it's okay. I don't think it has to be as intense. And people might not like me for that opinion. And that's okay too. You're allowed to have your own opinions, even about me. So I'm pulling that out for her. Biology is a hard mix. So I have master books. I even have somewhere. I even bought the master book kit for the labs. So at this aspect, I have my 8th grader doing her first half of biology this year, and then she'll do her next half of biology next year. I have my 10th grader doing her second half of biology. One of the things I'm running into is she covered a lot at the private school. I don't know at what depth, but she covered a lot. So I'm looking and I'm trying to figure out what she doesn't have. And so what I went ahead and did, I'm doing I have it here. On Teachers Pay Teachers, there are a couple of them have, and I printed and I bought these a year or two ago for my daughter when we were homeschooling my oldest. So I still had it in my folder of purchases. And it's on Teacher Pay Teacher is the crash course for biology. So on YouTube, you can go to crash course. Later on, I might put a card up there if I need to, if I can find it, if it's easy to do, because, we know my limited ability with ADHD. You can go on the crash course and you can watch there's like 40 videos about all the different aspects. And so we kind of did that today, where we played one that covered the chapter we were in. And then I remembered with my daughter, this one child of mine learned really, really good by listening to the teacher and taking notes. So if they're taking notes, she takes notes. And her writing them down fuses her information. Well, in master books, it is a lot of reading and filling in the blanks. And even though what you're filling in is really a set of notes, I wish it was divided by sections in the book. So it really felt more like notes instead of just fill in the blank quiz. So I realized what I want to do is do crash course videos sometimes, and I will take the notes with her, and I'll show you how I'm going to set that up, how I have that set up, and how I want to how I see in my mind how we're going to do it. We'll watch the video together. I will take notes as we go, and then she'll be copying the notes for me. And I know this sounds silly, but I'm not really interacting with her. She's interacting with the video, but copying my notes. So then, because sometimes she gets a brain block because it's mom. She doesn't want to listen to mom. I don't blame her. That's how it is. I don't even care. It's fine. We'll just move this way. So I'm looking at that. So I'm kind of merging the textbooks she has, the master book stuff, the labs that come with master books, some video crash courses online, and then probably Teacher Pay Teacher has a couple hands-on for like $5, $6. I could buy a download and it'll be cut and paste, whatever, to help understand concepts. That's what I'm going to try and do. I don't think it's going to be perfect, but I'm also going to do that with my 8th grader who's starting biology. So I'll just kind of combine the two of them, because as much as it like bookwork, I know that's going to just burn them out. We're not going to have fun doing bookwork every day. So if I can come up with a hands-on project that's not lap books, but like something which I'm sure Teachers Pay Teachers will have, then that will be more fun. And that'll get it done. So I don't know if world history is going to do the same thing to me. I hope it doesn't. Okay, Dawn's using LifePack. I kind of talked a little bit about LifePack. I hope it's going good. I hope you are having success, because we didn't. So that's biology logic. Notebooking works wonders for us. I'm not a great notebooker. Like, I don't mind doing it for me, but then my girls just get tired of me, absolutely tired of me. So that's that one. So she's covering, so my 10th grader, she'll get a credit. She'll get a half credit in math. Oh, math. She has taken algebra and she's passed the end of course exam for the state of Florida to acknowledge she's had a successful math education for algebra. And then she took a half credit geometry, a half credit geometry. With that said, she needs 4 credits in math, and she has 2 already. 2 right now, 2. We're going in the next semester. we need to figure out a way. She is not strong in math. She's not strong in algebra. She doesn't understand it. So I pulled out Saxon. And if you are familiar with Saxon, I think it's Algebra 1 in Saxon and Algebra 2 in Saxon also give you a half credit of geometry. So it'll cover those concepts in there. So I have her restarting Algebra 1. Most of it comes from her and my 8th grader is those 30 questions a day are probably the most important aspect of math that they need to do. And I say that because they're not well practiced in it. So she's doing Algebra 1 over again, but we are calling it college math prep or liberal math. I'm going to come up with some great name that the school system uses. And live, learn, grow. Excellent point. She says her 15-year-old reads the master books, science books, and takes notes rather than doing the worksheet. It just depends on what they like to do. I think mine are having a hard time with the worksheets. And I think taking notes is going to be better too. Excellent point. So to get her prepped for the PERT, she gained like 2 or 3 points and not much. She needs to be practicing math. So that's some of the reason why we're doing the Algebra 1 this semester. And hopefully we'll get to the point where she's got it. And then there'll be enough concepts of geometry that will be helpful to her to go to college. And again, the goal is, and maybe it's not next fall. I mean, the goal is like, hopefully in fall, she'll take a college math class. If we're not ready for that because we didn't pass the PERT, then hopefully next spring we'll take a college math class. And we'll just keep moving on towards we get success. So that's the oldest one. So she's doing a half credit in math, a half credit in English, a half credit in world history, a half credit in biology, half credit in logic. Master Books is a full 1 credit hour to do their logic. We are just doing the first half of the book. And then in fall, we're doing the other half credit. And that's the thing. You can do that. You don't have to have your credit hour be a credit hour that started in fall and finished in the spring, and there's your 1 credit. You could do half a credit in spring, and then the following fall, you finish the other half of the credit. We have done that multiple times where we start a half credit, we take the year to do the half credit, and we do the half credit the next time. Logic for half a credit in art. We are pulling an art program off Teachers Pay Teachers. I know it's enough because when I was like, look what I found, this stuff is so cool. This will be a great art curriculum. The girls are like, that's what we're doing at the private schools. So they're using the same Teachers Pay Teachers curriculum. So I know it's fine. It's enough. My 8th grader, she is doing pre-algebra with Saxon. So that is Algebra 1/2. She's doing that because, again, she's in the same place. She needs the practice. At the beginning of the year, they'd put her in Algebra 1, and I'm like, not a good fit. And my husband and I went to heads with this. I said, this is not going to work for her. You can't say that. He's like, you don't know. She wants to do it. And I'm like telling her, I go, this will overwhelm you with the pace. You are not strong enough in math. No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to study. She studied her butt off. And by November, she was in tears. And I'm like, good mom here. I told you so. I told you so. So anyways, I know she's not ready for algebra. With that, we're doing Saxon Algebra 1/2. She could do Saxon 8-7. She did test into 8-7. I feel like Algebra 1/2 will suit her just fine. Pre-algebra, it all the way through, and we'll get there. She is doing master books, 9th grade, living language, whatever. It seems to be a great fit so far. And I do have to say, I feel like the elementary, I just wish there was more practicing in there. And I've talked to some homeschool moms that have been homeschooling their kids with it. And they're like, it builds up. It's going to be fine. I'm like, okay. Trust in the system. 9th grade, I feel like it's appropriate. It seems to be going well. And I don't know if we'll continue it next year, whatever. Who knows if we'll even get through to May with it. I hope so, because I do not want a lot of stuff. So she's doing that. She's doing the civics. in her in master books, we kind of started from the beginning again, even though she's already taken some civics, but her civics was all over the place. So I kind of let her start there. It seems to be going well. It seems to be going well. It is a beautiful book. I've torn it apart, and now I'm like, why did I tear it apart? I think I should have just torn out the lesson pages instead of all the contents of the book, because it is a really thick book, has lots of good references in it. I don't know how to handle it because I don't know if I want to handle that whole book all the time. I kind of want to keep things simple. She's doing the biology, like I said. She's doing logic with me. She will do art, and she will do conversation Spanish. Now, in Florida, my goal is they'll do FLVS Spanish because that will allow them to have that accreditation. But I think it would be helpful to do a conversational Spanish. And we're doing the Classical Academy Press Spanish primer. We have not started that. I just got the book. I looked through the workbook a little bit, and I think it's going to be a good fit. What I've really got to sit down and do is, one, forgive myself. Your first week back to homeschooling, I'm telling you guys this because I'm telling it to me. My first week back to homeschooling, I cannot expect it to be perfect, right? Can we get a thumbs up on that, a like, a little hearts in the comments, right? We cannot expect it to be perfect. The other aspect, and sometimes we have to experience it. I'm especially one of those. Like, I have to experience it to realize what I need. I'm not somebody, and I've never been somebody that could just go and say, this is what I expect we're going to do, and this is what we're going to do. The women who can do that, oh my goodness. I just want to sit and be a fly on your wall and see the magic happen. It is not my magic. So I have to go through the mud and make it a lot of effort to get through so that I can figure it out. And so what it's occurred to me is I need to chunk, what is it I plan to work together? So with my younger kids, I definitely want to do some easy grammar with them. I definitely need to sit and do their science with them. I definitely need to sit and do some of their language arts, like their spelling with them. So I need to figure out, what parts do I do together with them? What parts do I do? And it's almost, instead of scheduling them, I need to build a schedule for me, when and where I need to be. Because I won't lie, I woke up. I mean, even this aspect, I kind of need to stop drinking so much coffee. I'm not drinking a lot, but I got the little gurgle going. And I woke up this morning, yesterday, and I didn't drink. I was like, don't drink coffee today because it'll make you, let's give your throat a little bit of grace. I didn't know how to start my day without that routine of making my coffee. As simple as that is, it's a struggle. And some of us have those struggles. Like, if you move something out, it's like you don't know how to like get past that. And I've been trying to do like the Atomic Habits. My only review I'm going to have on the book is he's got such a potty mouth. That was a little bit hard to listen to at times. It's really good. And I keep going back to habit stacking. And that's what happened. My habit stack in the morning typically begins with making my cup of coffee. And I got one of those little espresso cups, so that's a little bit more involved. It doesn't take any more time. But the steps in that seem to give me the sense of what I'm going to do next. And I remove that first habit that starts habit stacking the rest. And that's kind of one of those things where, when I do this, okay, I do this after I do that. And then I do this after I do this. And so when you start with this one, it kind of creates this chain effect of habit stacking. And I'm like, so I'm kind of having a hard time with that. So I got to figure that part out. Oh, and here's the other part. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing or if I'm just super special. I really doubt I'm super special. I really doubt I'm super special. If I lose my habits, if I have a day that shows up that I don't do my habits, right? And then the next day, like if I get discombobulated, Like literally within 3 days, I can lose my routine as though it never existed, and my brain won't even remember the routine. It won't remember the routine, period. And it is like trying to rebuild my routine and my habits again. It is so infuriating because being at 45, almost 46 years old, I feel like kind of a newbie in life at times, even though I'm not, where I'm just like, okay, when you find a routine, write it down and post it so you remember what you need to do. And I feel like the older I got, I feel like I was much better at this when I was in my 30s, in my late 20s versus my 40s. My 40s, I'm like, wait, what? I mean, maybe this is what my mom was talking about. Now, granted, my mom only had a 25-year-old at my age, and I have an 8-year-old. So I don't know if our mama brains were really meant to be on top of it. But trying to go ahead and create those habits of where I need to be. Can you have just one cup? Yes, I can now. My pot of coffee drinking days are over. Forever. Forever. We're going to thank my friend called GERD. My GERD has eliminated that. So I'm happy with just one cup. But I have that little Cuban coffee maker latte thing, so you can literally make really phenomenal coffee. So I make one amazing cup of coffee. It's probably 3 shots of espresso, though. I'm not going to lie. And I do a ton of milk, and I do whole milk, so then I'm getting that whole protein thing in there. And I drink it hot because it makes my throat feel better. I'd like to drink it cold, but I drink it hot with a lot of sweetener. And I've quit, and I'm done buying like the fake flavoring. I'm just putting a little niblet. Is that a word? Niblet? A nibblet. Yeah, kind of. I think it's a word. I think it's justifiable word of vanilla in there. And I've been making my own vanilla. So it feels like a hot mess. Let me give you a tour because at some point we have to end this. Life throws monkey wrenches into routines. It helps to have it written down. It does. Like the only reason I can survive chore charts is because we wrote them down years ago. I do need to expand on them a little bit and do some changes. It has held up for 6 years. I don't even know how it happened. Like I'm the last person to let it change up, to let it hold up. Okay. I'm going to step on stuff. I have been so tired. Here is the homeschool space. This is what I've done today. Up until my meltdown today and the I'm done, we're good, we're out of here. This is what happened today. So the first order of business is we need to watch some videos online, right? I got to hold my computer better. So like, let's watch Crash Course. Let's do the preposition song from CC right here, right? Because I'm doing some of the CC stuff. I'm just like picking and choosing. So I grabbed this. Mama somehow managed to mount this all by herself. I did that today. I can't believe I did that today. But you know, I'm not scared of hurting my walls because this is just like a press board thing that I painted. I didn't even paint it great. I just primed it. So my thought was I wanted something that I could turn about like this so my oldest could read it or watch it. And then I have these from when I taught CC. So I hung it up. I've had these like little things forever and I pulled them out and I hung it up. And my goal, there comes the rain. My goal is then I could take notes. And the reason I chose paper and not dry erase is because you might not hear me soon. I don't have great insulation. Is so that if I've moved past this, I can rip it off and she can still copy it. And I plan to pause here. Oh, going back here, I'm like, well, how am I going to get what I want to watch on here? It's not a smart TV. And I'm like, I could buy a little CPU which I might still do, but I don't think for now I will. I went ahead and I found the Chromebook, and I will use the Chromebook and just use this as an extra monitor. So that can work for now. When I was teaching at the middle school, I bought this so that I would have something at the front of the class. And I just moved it here because I need to put the computer on something. That has a lot of old stuff from Goat Information Homesteading, so that will get erased. This I'm going to use to write our to-dos, our schedules, our routine blocking to do here. That's what I want to do there. And then I did foresee me wanting to have a dry erase board to work ideas out. So here I go. These are two separate. I just joined them together as close as I could. I stole these from the house. So I've created that with the idea that it will help me be more interactive. Thank you, Kristen. It will help me be more interactive with it. Here is the homeschool mess. It is not great. I need to bring a few more tables in. So when you look at it, here's what you'd see right here. So that's the quote unquote homeschool space. It just feels like an overwhelming mess every day. It's just, everybody has to have a tumble mat, right? You know what I did buy? Ho, 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 ho. I'm so excited because I think they're going to love it. They went to a friend's house of another homeschool with tons of little girls, and they had the yoga ribbon. And this is what's nice about having a not that finished space that I'll never finish. I have rafter beams, like those things right there are super strong. And I could put the ribbon yoga thingy. I don't do yoga. I mean, it's just what it's called. So I can suspend it for the girls. And if I don't do it up there, I can do it downstairs. So they'll be able to do that. I'm kind of excited. I think that would be so relaxing because there's a way you can use them like an inversion table for my back. So I'm like, oh, that'll be great. So that I have that. Okay. I do want to tell you my 3 goals. I will do another video all about my 3 goals. So you haven't seen the garden. Wait until you see the garden. You are going to be amazed. I am amazed at myself for this. I follow Lazy Dog Farm. Just how I became competent. I have no skills. I just am good. The only skill I have is to keep trying until I figure something out. So, Lazy Dog Farms, I found somebody who told me about them. They garden in this area. So I literally am like, I don't know how much, like I literally got him to order the fertilizer. He was ordering the fertilizer. I'm like, I can't find this fertilizer. He ordered it for me when he ordered his. So then I got the fertilizer from him, and then I needed to use it. And I have this whole like almost high-tech like injection thing. Needless to say, we're doing a botany because we're going to make mommy happy on this one. We're going to do some botany first in science, and then we're going to do like physics stuff because my son's trying to build these like machines. So I'm like, how much fertilizer do I put in if my space is this big? So that really super helps. So my goal this year, and I told my husband going into it, was I am going all out to garden. Like, I'm not gardening on the cheap. I'm not going to try and be thrifty at all. I know this sounds so counterproductive, but it's like this. If I don't succeed in gardening this year with everything, I quit. I'm done. I'm not going to garden anymore. Maybe I'll grow flowers, but I'm done growing food. With that said, I bet you I'm going to have 100 pounds of tomatoes. No joke. I really think I'm going to have 100 pounds of tomatoes, and I'm so excited about that. So that was like one of my big things I'm working on, and not really a New Year's resolution, but just another aspect of it. Are you doing 4-H this year? Yes, I am. I tried not to take on so much responsibility, but that just never works. Actually, this year I'm doing a shooting group. I have a group of kids, and got certified. I'm going to go do another certification this weekend for muzzle loading. And I hate to say it, even though I'd love to be teaching kids how to can, how to garden, how to sew, how to quilt, I really, really have enjoyed just doing shooting with them. I didn't even fathom that would be something I just love doing. It is simpler on my brain. And what I really have come to realize is, well, not realize, but sorry, I got distracted. I'm good at shooting. So it works out really good. Sometimes it's fun. Like I really have got to go shooting with my volunteers because they're men. And like I get in there and they're like, oh, Trish, why are you telling them these things? And I think if I go shooting with them, they're going to be like, never mind, tell them those things. There you go. There you go. So the garden is I'm on the bus home. Hey, how are you, Rose? So one of the things, so gardening is a huge one. The other one is I finally have a canning pantry. So I don't have jars shoved in their beds and I'm not trying to find it in my tiny little house. I have a canning pantry. And I'm looking at, like, I want to eat better food by canning food. I just had this conversation with 2 different people today and trying to figure out what that means. I put raw milk on my plants and it's wonderful bug repellent. Oh, my grandma taught me that. That is good to know. What I am doing is, and I have enough space, 6 months worth of food for 8 people is around 1,500 jars. That's a lot, folks. That's a lot of jars. And previously, before COVID, my husband got rid of a bunch of my jars because for some reason, my clutter was in his way of his clutter and my clutter had to be removed. He gave my jars away. It's a touchy subject, but he's not allowed to. He's like, you can get more later. It's not a big deal. COVID hit, there's no jars. So in order to fill my pantry, so now I have this huge, beautiful pantry. I may one day do a pantry tour. And I put my jars in and I realized I don't have as many as I thought I did. So I really need to get a boost of jars back to fill them up. And I thought it was 200 jars per person per year. I was way off. Well, let's see, 1,500, 400 jars. So it'd be 800 jars a year per person. But if you think about that, 800, that's 3 jars, 3 quarts of food a day per person. That's too much. That's too much. It can't be that because they can't all be quarts. Anyways, I'm going based off, I want to put up 2 cases of jars every week is my goal. And the reason for doing that is I can fill my pantry up. And I don't want to go and buy a bunch of empty jars. I know I'm going to go into this in more detail as I've really thought it out, make just a video on this. So then I'm not just filling my pantry with empty jars. I want to see food on there. I want to be more kind of having prepared foods to make my life easier, especially being back to homeschooling. So that is one of my goals this year is to do 2 cases a year. Last week, week 1, I did 42 jars, not quarts. I didn't do 42 quarts. It was like 37 quarts, but I did 42 jars. I don't have anything really to can right now. So I canned leftovers. I canned dry beans so they're ready to use. I canned some chicken and I had some freeze-dried peppers that got too much air. So they got sticky. So I hydrated them and then I canned them. So it worked out there. So where do you find how many jars per person? The best. No. Oh, yep. Look what my daughter got me. This was my Christmas gift. This is ADHD moment. This is my pruning shears thing. So I bought one at Tractor Supply. It didn't fit. So I bought one on Amazon. Within 3 days. I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere in the house. Okay. These are like my seeds. Like, we're going to talk all about seeds. So, it's my little garden thingy. It's in here. Is it in here? It's got to be in here. Oh, come on. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Run, buy, grab, whatever it takes. I didn't do anything. Okay. One of these blue jars. This is going to go over an hour because it's just been so long. And that's how I'm saying it, because we know we don't do over an hour, but I'm just saying because it's been so long since we've been together. The blue jar book from 1970s. See, it says $1. Go look on eBay. Buy one of these books. It can be $1.50, $1.25. Nothing new. Nothing brand new. Please do not buy a brand new book. At least you can have brand new books, but always make sure you have an old school blue book by Ball. Always have one of these. Inside the book, and I think you could probably, if you look hard enough, you can find one of these on PDF. Like, I mean, they talk about the mold. I love the pictures. I swear, this is the best book. It talks about, like, everything you need to know. For limited technology, they talk about they really cover a lot of stuff. What book would you recommend for the Amish canning? They do only water bath. I don't. I'm a pressure canner. Might have to put duct tape over that one. I know I need to yeah, it'll get there. It'll get there. So they have this like food chart thing in here that talks about if you raise your own garden, this is a useful. So it's the amount of food to be grown and canned for a typical family of 6 people. I haven't quite, I kind of use that. So like they talk about how much spinach, broccoli, carrots. So you should raise if I had a family of 6, it says I should get around 40 pounds of carrots for canning. And that would give me 20 quarts. So that means my yield would be 75 pounds per 100 foot. So my foot row, so it kind of lays that out for you. I don't really use that. I'm just not going to lie. But then it has this chart right here. This chart. So screenshot that right there. Go ahead and screenshot it. And that kind of gives you an idea of how many quarts. And the one thing to realize is most of that stuff like soups, meats, vegetables, dark greens, citrus fruit is for 36 weeks. So that's half a year. Where the jams, they're saying you would eat it 6 times a week at 2 tablespoons. For a family of 4, you would need 160 half pints for the year for 6 people. So I just kind of calculated based on this chart here about what my goal is. Now, listen, not exact science there. I just kind of averaged it. It came up to be a little bit over. I said, if I just did 2 cases, even if it's jelly cases, can you do 1,500 jars in a year? Well, not even 1,500 because let me get my calculator out and figure this out. If I could do, no, please stop texting me. So if I did 24 jars for 50 weeks, that'd put me at 1,200 jars. You know what? If I could put 1,200 jars in my pantry this year and still eating out of it, I'm going to count it a success. It's just the fact of I don't want to keep buying jars and not fill them. So I have 2 pressure canners. I have 2 water bathers. But sometimes, like, my son eats through piles of chicken breast. He puts them on his ramen noodles. I tried to make him chicken breast, can him little jelly jars of chicken breast because it's about all he needs. And it is cheaper to do that than to buy the cans. I mean, what are the cans of chicken? What are the cans of chicken at Walmart? We'll do that. Y'all, getting old is rough. I can hardly ever see. It's just, it gets me. And then my glasses don't stay on. $2.50, you think? Let's see. Canned chicken. Canned chicken. Yeah, it's like if you get Swanson, it's $4 a jar, a can. And it comes to the amounts of weight. Are you ready for this? $5 a pound for that canned chicken. $5 a pound. Let's find the Walmart. Walmart is $1.18 for a can. Oh, I'm gonna have to get off this. But it's $3.81 a pound. I can go buy fresh chicken for $2 and something a pound. I can can it up and it tastes 10 times better. All right, y'all, I'm gonna have to call this an end because in the end, there's gonna be a lot of noise and people coming in. I'm gonna catch up with you. Y'all have made me feel so much better, but I'm just gonna tell you the first 2 days were rough. That's all I gotta say. I love y'all. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the time you give us. Lord, give us strength in the things that overwhelm us. Lord, give us peace in the things that we're uncertain in. Lord, guide each thing that we have, each step that we make, each decision we have, each reaction we have in our heart to be based on the will that you have for us. Lord, let us rest in the peace of mind that you have all things planned for us. And all we need to do is worry about the moment and not even worry. Trust in you in the moment to know that the things that are to come will come. In your son's precious holy name, I pray. Amen. I will see y'all soon.